Oh, Nintendo fans. Nintendo fans. Do you know where your platform stands right now? I don't believe you do. I don't believe you do. But I know where the Nintendo Wii U stands right now. So I'm gonna tell you. Because somebody needs to. Because if you guys wonder why everybody hates excuse me, why everyone hates Nintendo, it's a lot of it has to do with you guys. You just don't know when to quit. You just don't know when to say, hey, I'm wrong. I enjoy the games on this console. I enjoy what's coming. I enjoy what Nintendo does. But you know, you guys have got a point. This console is less relevant than, say, an Xbox 360 at this point, or a PS4, or whatever's coming down the line. You guys just can't look at your shit in real terms. So somebody's gonna have to come out here and put this out to you and tell you where you stand, because you guys don't know. You keep going on and you sound crazy. So anyway, where is the Wii U at? And I've heard Shokio say that he expects the Wii U will be less successful than the Wii, which shit, that's common sense. At this juncture, as El Presador would say, at this juncture of all junctures. And he expects it to sell around 60 million. I think he's on the right track. He's on the right track, but he needs to get that number to go a little bit lower. A little bit lower, Shokio. I would say that the Wii U, over a 5-year period, is gonna come in around 40 million units. 40 million units. And that's plus or minus 3 million. Plus or minus 3 million. So 37 to 43 million units. And that's where you guys stand over 5 years. And you're going to see the first year that we're in right now, the Wii U is going to get off to a sluggish start. And we're in a sluggish start right now. And I think it's going to hit its stride. It's going to pick up the second and third year are going to be the strongest years for that console. And then you're going to see a decline. You're going to see a decline as the gap between the Wii U and the PS4 and the next Xbox become even greater. Because that's what's going to happen with your dated technology. Over time, there's going to be a bigger gap. And it's just going to expand. So your fourth and your fifth year are going to be kind of sluggish years, kind of like the last 2 years of the Wii's life cycle. And you guys know how that's going. Not very well. And yeah, I'm sure you'll name off about 5 games, but goddamn, anybody that owned a 360 or a PS3 can name off 25 in the past 2 years that they enjoyed. So, fuck, don't even give me that. Anyway, now where were we at? So, we're looking at 40 million consoles over 5 years, and this puts Nintendo in probably last place. Probably last place. And you guys want to brag about this big launch that Nintendo had and how it sold more than the 360 sold when it launched in 2005. And if you look at where the gaming industry was in terms of dollars in 2005, 2006, you're talking about a $35 billion industry, and that's adjusted for inflation. So that's 35 billion today's dollars. Is how big the industry was in 2005, 2006. And today, we're looking at around a 60-something billion dollar industry. 60-some-odd billion. And it's down, it's declining from 2009. Down 9, 12%, somewhere around there from 2009. But goddamn, we're talking about an industry that's doubled in terms of dollars spent. And you guys sold barely better than the Xbox, and you act like that's something to fucking brag about? God, what are you thinking? Really? So, I don't know what goes through you guys' heads sometimes when you say things like that. I mean, you're talking about an industry that's half the size in terms of dollars spent. And then you want to blame the economy. Well, goddamn, if it was the economy that had that much effect on things, You wouldn't see people lining up around the block for an iPad or an iPod or whatever the fuck Apple makes now. iPhone, iPad. You wouldn't see people lining up around the block for that. Samsung's Galaxy S3. You wouldn't see people lining up around the block for that. People want to spend their money. And $400 or $500 is not that much money to people. I mean, there's a substantial amount of people out there that have that money that they want to spend. So, there you go. And even further, when you're talking about the economy, I don't understand where the argument comes from, because even with the declining economy, the recession hit hardest in 2008. In 2008. And the gaming industry saw record profits in 2009. 2009. And now, sure, there's been a decline, but is the economy really to blame for that decline? Or is it the stagnation of the console sector of the industry? The longer that it goes on, the larger gap that there is between current consoles and the PC, and people are ready for something new. So it's kind of stagnating, but geez, Nintendo gives them something new. They sell barely better than they did when the industry was half the size that it is now. And you guys just brag. Jesus. What are you thinking? Anyway, I hate to just harp on that one point, but it blows my mind. It's like you guys just don't know when to give up. You can't just say, hey, we had a bad launch, fuck. And let it go at that. You just want to keep arguing. You just want to, I don't know. Like you're trying to turn water into wine or something. And it's just not going to happen. Alright, and now that we've talked about the Wii U itself, let's talk a little bit about the games, the Wii U's games, and then where it stands in terms of actually getting some games to play. Because right now, just face the facts, you don't have a hell of a lot of games to play if you own a Wii U. And you guys are getting excited because 2, 3, maybe 4 games have been confirmed to come on later this year. But Jesus Christ, if you play a 360 or a PS3, for God's sakes, you had 3 or 4 pretty cool games come out this month. Or within 2 months at least. You had Tomb Raider, you had BioShock Infinite, Defiance came out last week. I picked that up. I mean, it's not a game, not anything major, nothing to write home about, you know, but I would take Defiance over Monster Hunter Tri, which you guys just worship. It's like I said, you're just sitting there acting like a remake of a remake is the best thing since sliced bread. It's ridiculous. Come on. Anyway, I don't see the Wii U's third-party support getting any better. I see it getting worse. It's just going to get worse. And when the PS4 and the next Xbox come out, you think you're really going to get a lot of multiplats from that? And Shokio says, well, nobody buys a Nintendo Wii for the multiplats, or a Nintendo Wii U for the multiplats, or a Nintendo console period for the multiplats. And I say, well, you're right, Shokio. You're right. But why are you right? Why are you right? Why does nobody buy a Nintendo console for the multiplats? Because Nintendo doesn't have any fucking multiplats. So they would be stupid if they bought a Nintendo console for the multiplats. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. And then I've heard you say, so it's not a problem. It's not a problem. But, well, what is it if it's not a problem? If it's not a problem, then what is it? I mean, come on. I think it certainly is a problem. It's a problem. According to Reggie, he addressed it there in an interview. I think that interview was taken at an E3. I think that's where Black Bond got that footage from, which I watched his video on that when he had gone back and forth with Dr. Trey. Dr. Trey 81. Now there's a Nintendo fanboy of a whole different breed. most of you guys, like Shokio, spend half your time, or most of your time, damage controlling Nintendo, or Dr. Trey spends most of his time sticking his foot in his mouth and then damage controlling himself. Oh shit, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. He makes this video and says not to compare graphics. Online graphics comparisons are getting too extreme, and they're just going too far, and you can barely tell the difference, and it doesn't look that much better anyway. And then he gets called out, and I think really we know what he meant, and anybody with a brain can see what he was getting at was that the Wii U's graphics looked pretty similar to those on the PC, and he got called out by Black Bond and Broken Games HD, I think, called him out. So then he goes back and he makes him another video, and he kind of dwells on these little technicalities of what I said and what I didn't say. I never said that. And then he says, oh, that was a trap, and blah blah blah. You guys are agreeing with me or disagreeing with me by agreeing with me, and that's why I'm the master. Like he had this fucking master plan from the beginning, which is bullshit. Anybody with a little common sense can see that's bullshit. And he goes on back and forth, and he just keeps on getting destroyed by Black Bond. And when I first started watching Black Bond's videos, I thought he was just a smug little bastard, but I can understand why he has to be a little bit smug now, just because of the stupidity that gets sent his way on such a regular basis. But anyway, shit, what was I saying? I got on a tirade about Dr. Trey 81 and the different breed of fanboy that he is. Goodness. The fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, the Wii U's games. But yeah, you're just not gonna get those third-party games, and it's gonna get worse over time. Like, what do you guys think is gonna happen when the PS4 and the next Xbox come out? When you can't get a port? And I know I mentioned this a little bit later in this video, because I pre-recorded this in a few different segments, just to kind of put some illusion, at least, of order to my thoughts here. But yeah, you guys are struggling to get ports now. What do you think is going to happen when the next Xbox and the PlayStation 4 comes out? When they both have higher end hardware, and they're easier to program for. You're talking about two consoles using probably very similar hardware, and both the processors use the x86 architecture, which is the same architecture as those standard PC processors. And Nintendo's using the Power PC architecture. Who's the odd man out? Nintendo's the odd man out. And I don't think that developers are going to want to make that sacrifice with their time and their resources to port a game to a system that's more difficult to work with, that they're going to have to strip down, and that they're not going to sell as many units on. Because if history teaches us anything, it's that Nintendo platforms don't sell as many units as other platforms. And you want to go on about your hardcore games on the Wii, and the Conduit 1 and 2, which I had a guy bring up those games in a comment to me on YouTube earlier today, or yesterday now. And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. You want to ramble on about how great those games were. They couldn't have been that great. They didn't look too much fun to me. I would have bought them. I've got a little red Wii sitting here. Got about 10-12 games for the thing. Barely play it. Maybe play 250 hours, and shit, 100 of those hours were Xenoblade Chronicles. That's one game. That is taking up half the playtime of my Wii, and probably 25 hours was Resident Evil 4. But anyway, I'm getting off track. what was I saying? Yeah, the odd man out is the Wii U. The games don't sell. You take the games like Conduit 1 and 2 that you guys brag about having, these hardcore first-person shooter, this and that, and you look at the sales, a game like Chicken Shoot. You seen that little game in the clearance bin at Kmart that comes with the little gun, and I guess you shoot at chickens. I've never played it, but I've seen it there. And a game like that sold more than the Conduit 1 and 2, and it sold 3/4 as many as Xenoblade Chronicles, which sold right at 400,000 copies, and Chicken Shoot sold 300,000. And then Dr. Trey says, well, they think that Nintendo fans will buy anything. Well, goddamn, dude, apparently you will. Apparently you will buy anything. If Chicken Shoot will sell 300,000 copies on your platform, and a game like Xenoblade Chronicles that every Wii owner and his brother is just clamoring to have, just beating down Nintendo's door to get them to bring that game to North America, and then out of however many million Wiis that there are in North America, you sell almost 400,000. You sell 390,000 copies of that game, and Chicken Shoot sells 300,000. So, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but anyway, the point is, the Wii U is the odd man out when it comes to getting next generation games, and Nintendo, they're clueless. They act like they never saw this coming with Microsoft and Sony switching to a more PC-like environment in terms of hardware in their machines. And I mean, that's been happening ever since the original Xbox, using that Windows 2000 kernel and the DirectX 8.1, I believe, API. I mean, that's where the industry's been going. It's been moving toward the PC. The consoles are becoming more PC-like, and the PC is becoming more console-like. And I think it's worked out best for the PC than it has anyone here. But that's beside the point. The consoles are still plenty relevant. At least the Sony and Microsoft consoles are. Nintendo's console isn't very relevant right now. But I think you understand that. So they're just the odd man out. They're not going to be getting those games. That's about all that there is to say for that. And let's talk about the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine 4 and the Wii U. Now I think everybody and their brother has had something to say about this. But I saw a video of Shokio talking about the Nintendo Wii U was just the second loser. It wasn't really a big deal because Microsoft and Sony's next generation machines were also going to have a watered down version of the Unreal Engine 4. And while there is a certain amount of truth to that, what he is not understanding, what he doesn't grasp, and the reason that this was felt so much like damage control on his part, is that yes, Microsoft and Sony's consoles very well will have watered down versions of games on the Unreal Engine 4, comparatively speaking, from the PC, because the PC is always going to be the more powerful platform where all the real technical innovation is happening. But there's a certain gap that exists between the next generation consoles from Sony and Microsoft and the PC. And then there's a certain other gap that exists between the Wii U and Sony and Microsoft and the PC, an even further gap. And so what you're going to have to ask yourself is, yes, there are going to be certain features of the games plural, are going to be scaled down. But if you scale them down any further than what Microsoft and Sony's machines are going to be able to run, do you compromise things that are essential parts of a specific game? For instance, would it be the difference in Black Ops for the PS3 and 360 and Black Ops for the Wii U? Would that be the difference between the two versions of a game? And I believe it would be similar to that if those things were to be scaled down any further. So I think developers are going to do one of two things. They're either not going to support the Wii U, or they are going to support the Wii U, but the games that the Wii U would get compromise the original vision and the original vision for the game. So it wouldn't actually be the same game, and more often than not, the Wii U just wouldn't get the game at all. And that's where you're at with that, because when you have Sony and Microsoft, you know the games are going to sell on those consoles better than they're going to sell on the PC. And you have the Wii U where it's going to sell about the same or worse than it's going to sell on the PC. And if you want proof of these numbers, you can go look at nearly any game that has sold across all platforms this current generation, between the Wii, the Xbox 360, the PC, and the PS3, and the Wii U's pretty much always at the bottom. And that's just the way it is. So the Wii U's software support, third-party software support, is not going to be getting any better. And I don't know why these people have it in their head that Nintendo is just going to magically turn everything around in terms of third-party support. You're fucking struggling right now. Right now in 2013, Nintendo is fucking struggling with this console that just got released however many months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I don't know. Can't fucking count. They're struggling to get ports from the PS3 and the fucking 360. And then you're going to sit there and tell me that Nintendo can just magically turn this around, and they just have to do this, they have to do this, they have to do that. And like there's some kind of fucking solution that Nintendo hasn't figured out in 20 goddamn years. Because let's face it, Nintendo has not had third-party support in 20 years since the Super Nintendo. It's completely ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. It's the most absurd idea that I've ever heard. They cannot get a terrible amount of ports, and then you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say, oh well, Nintendo's getting this fucking Batman game. Nintendo's getting whatever the hell it is, Watch Dogs. Nintendo getting this, Nintendo's getting that. And yeah, sure, they're getting a few ports. They're not even getting all of the games that are coming to the 360 and the PS3. And I don't know what goes through you guys' heads. You're struggling to get a ports from last generation consoles, and then you think you're just magically going to get all these games. You're just going to have a fucking wealth of games coming to your stupid ass platform when the PS4 and the next Xbox are on the market. Now, what in the world makes you think that that's going to happen? That's not happened. That has not been the case since the Super Nintendo. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, use your head. It's not happening. You're not getting those games. Just get over it. That ship sailed. They're gone. It's over. It's done. And that's about it. And I'm going to go ahead and let this gameplay finish out here in this last few minutes. Super Mario Brothers 3. Probably the greatest video game ever created, all things considered. And I would suggest you Nintendo fans use these last few minutes to watch this great game play out and reflect on your thoughts, reflect on your actions, reflect on where your platform stands, and change your ways, because you're saying some stupid shit. You wanna say, hey, I enjoy the Wii U, I like Nintendo games, that's fine, but don't sit here and pretend like it's the most relevant console under the sun and it's gonna do Iron Man numbers, as everybody was saying a few years back. So just stop pretending, stop living in Nintendo land, fantasy park, or whatever. So enjoy the last few minutes of Super Mario Brothers 3.